pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty. Welcome, board members. Appreciate you being here tonight. First thing we need to do is approve our meeting minutes from our regular meeting of April 14th. Is there a motion to do so?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of April 14th, 2026.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I thank Mike. Any corrections to those minutes?
Nope.
No changes? All right. Then all those in favor of approving the meeting minutes from April 14th, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. All right. And then we need a motion then to adopt tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
All right. Second?
I'll second that.
All righty. Anything that needs to be removed from the agenda or added that anybody has? No? All right then, all those in favor of adopting tonight's agenda say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. It's adopted. All right, first thing after all that business is Spotlight on Success. First we have Title VI Indian Education Program starring Ashlyn Coburn.
She's coming over this way, yeah.
Just come over this way.
I've never had anybody come over that way.
Thought I'd make it up.
An entrance, that's a good one.
So before Ashlyn begins, Title VI is one of our federal programs which supports our Native American students. So Ashlyn is our representative who helps us with the grant, but more importantly, works with our students and our families.
Great. Carry on.
It's not normally this packed in here, so I'm really nervous.
Don't be.
So this is what I present to my families, and I have 3 family nights a year. So this is one of our slideshows that I was just going to present to everybody here. So normally I would talk about our team, our goals for our 2025-2026 school year, updates on the goals, and then any highlights that we've had throughout the year. So our team, Kyle Weekly is our grant manager. Elena Velasquez is our grant supervisor. I'm the grant coordinator. And then this year, Catherine Gingrich is our teacher representative. She teaches P&W at the middle school for 7th grade. My parent officers this year, my chairperson or my president is Sierra Almas. Vice chairperson is Paula Jackson. My secretary is Amy Woodruff. And then my member at large is Brianna Roanhorse. These are the goals this year. There are a lot of them, but a lot of the work that I do at school actually goes into multiple goals. So I have increased school readiness, increased knowledge of cultural identity and awareness, increased attendance rate, increased Native American language instructional programs, increased graduation rates, and to increase parent participation. So to increase school readiness, some of the things that I do is I write vouchers for students that need them every year for shoes, coats, pants, different things like that. I also provide school supplies along with the Readiness to Learn coordinator, and we get supplies by donation from the Twilight events in town. We also get them from Lions Club and from Sir Optimus. And then I also help with sports physicals. My grant doesn't actually pay for them, but I get them in touch with either the tribe that can help pay for them or our school district that can. And then I also help with their schedule. So I help them sign up for classes and to find their pathway, like for high school and different things like that. This is
K through 12?
Yeah, this is K-12. Well, it's actually TK through 12. This is one of our highlights that we had this year. This was the Aztec dancers that I collaborated with Phil Cifuentes, and we came to the high school. Unfortunately, the day that they came, elementary had their symphony, Port Angelo Symphony, I believe it is, was on the same day. So middle school came over to the high school, and then we watched the Aztec Dancers, which is a group out of Seattle. And one of our high school students actually wrote an article for the Spartan Spectator in it too. And we had the top picture is some of our local Native Americans that did the opening song for the Aztec dancers. To increase parent participation, I host family nights every year, so I do 3 a year that the grant allows. And then I also make tons of parent phone calls for connection purposes. I also make those phone calls to update on students' academic success as well as attendance. And then I also have parent meetings every month with my parent officers, and we do updates on goals and any questions and comments, concerns that they have that too.
Tell us about your family nights.
So I have 3, one in the fall time, and that one is the opening, what is the grant, what are our goals this year? And we normally do like a game night, so I bring a whole bunch of board games out, and then I encourage families to play games with their students. The second one, which is a highlight on here, we made rattles this year. And then the third one, my final one, I always end the year with bingo because that gets the most people there, and then we vote on goals for the next year.
Okay.
To increase school readiness, it is data driven. Every week I get a report from Skyward that has all of our attendance and all of our academics for both middle school, high school, and elementary school. I also have new incentives this year for Forks Elementary School students that the Quileute Tribe provided.
No, it might stay on. There we go.
Oh, there we
And we're
go.
back.
Okay.
Now we're back.
We're back.
Okay.
Okay, we had a picture on the Google screen.
Can you hear us through the owl?
Let me put my headphones back on.
We can hear you on the Google Meet side now.
Thank you, Myron.
Yeah, we're good.
Phew. Okay. Well, let me.
Now he's gotta get-
Now we gotta get
Ashley left
Ashlyn
off.
back on
You
track.
have to start over again.
Don't tell her that.
All right.
You're doing great, Ashlyn.
Go back, thank you. No, back.
Oh,
That might have been a problem.
here, I think we're.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, so this is one of the highlights for November, it's Native American Heritage Month. So this was the display case that I decorated at the middle school. A lot of these artifacts came from the Quileute tribe, so they loaned them out to us and I had to check it out and everything. But some of this stuff was also local Native American artwork and drums and regalia too. So, and then that's a baby cradle board actually from one of our employees here.
Is it still up?
No, I can only take this stuff for about a month before they want it back. So and then there's other clubs and different things at the middle school that want to use it too, so. To increase graduation rates, I also meet at the Homeschool Plus building once a week. And we have a lot of students that are getting really close to graduating, so really happy about that. This year, we also implemented learning coaches. So at the high school, we have on Wednesdays, some of our paras are assigned a specific amount of students and they're meeting with them every week to check grades, to help encourage students, to help them organize their thoughts and all of their assignments. And then I'm not like in charge of it, but I'm helping spearhead that so that we can get our graduations up, our graduation rates up. This is really important too for students that are in credit recovery. And then we also do the same things at the middle school, but this is more to help them practice healthy habits for their academics for high school. And then there's also a summer school program for credit recovery for high school students and then for our middle school and elementary school students as well. And I am a part of the summer school program. And then we also do a graduation gift from Title VI too. Last year we did hand-painted drums from one of our local tribal members. It was Randy Eastman that painted all those drums. And then the Quileute tribe actually provided all of them too. To increase support for at-risk students, I have weekly support group meetings in every building where we talk about students that are at risk for any number of potential reasons, whether they be academics, attendance, or any social emotional concerns that we have about them. I'm also a learning coach, so this applies to that at-risk student as well as our attendance and our academics. And I also do a lot of social emotional check-ins. I am not a counselor, but I can do a lot of the surface level social emotional stuff with students, including running small groups with our Y-Try program, which is essentially teaches students why we try at school and the importance of education. And then anything that progresses further that they need more emotional support, I always refer to our counselors. I also run a healthy relationships group this year at the elementary school. So I'm teaching students how to be friends and the importance of healthy relationships between their parents, between staff members, between themselves, their peers. So that's been a really fun group this year. It's 4th grade, so they have a lot of things to learn. And then this year I'm also helping with the prevention club because part of my grant is to do prevention in the high school.
How long have you been doing this?
In my position or the prevention club?
Your position?
This is my 3rd year.
Okay. How many students?
191, I believe, this year. Yeah,
Wow.
191.
And are you getting a good response from parents?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And the 191 are registered as Native American.
Pardon
And
me?
the 191, in order to qualify, are registered Native Americans
Or
And-
descendants.
or
of.
descendants of, and represent, I don't know, 30 tribes?
Yes.
Somewhere in there, about 30?
About 30.
The
So
grant
it's,
or
Our
participation?
191 participants, yep.
and it's tribes or treaties that have partnerships with Washington State. So there are tribes that are out of Canada based, but they have treaties with Washington. So we have some of those students, and then also Alaska Native too. This is another one of our highlights this year. This was at the Veterans Day Assembly, and this is my 3rd year in a row being able to do this, but they do the welcome paddle song for the assembly before the rest of our students present. And that's Miss Ann. You can't see, I don't think you can see her in this one, but she's standing in the back. And then we have kindergarten all the way up to seniors that help participate this year. To increase Native American language instructional programs, we have since time immemorial written by John McCoy, and that is OSPI. John McCoy wrote the curriculum to OSPI, and then school districts across Washington State use it. So it's all Native American driven curriculum. And then
It's language.
it's both. It has language components, and then it also has lessons about Native American teachings that apply to like mathematics, social studies, English
Okay.
language
How
arts.
does the language thing work if there are 30 different tribes?
We represent our local, so the Quileute
But and
language.
it's representative in that
No,
document?
no, that's more, we have to partner with the Quileute tribe and local Native Americans for their language. This is more of a generalized Washington State, yeah.
Okay.
And then at the elementary school, they actually have students that get on the announcements before school starts, and they always say good morning in Quileute language.
Oh.
To increase knowledge of cultural identity and awareness, I have those family nights, and I always try to include Native American representation of different activities and coloring and all different components of Native American culture. I also provide a schedule of events that comes from the Quileute tribe onto the Remind platform. So if they have a schedule of events for different cultural nights that they have with their school, that's open to community. And then any drumming events and different things like that, I provide that to my families. I also run Title III groups in the middle school. So I work with students who they struggle with reading due to loss of language. So they qualify for a grant that's under Title III, but they are Title VI Native American students. So I'm working with them on a book study. We're reading Res Dogs, so I'm helping them learn more English language skills.
What is Title III?
It is the grant that helps,
Limited English
Yes.
proficiency.
but due to loss of language as Native American students. So it's our multilingual program, but for Native American students.
They lost their language? Or
It's
how does that work?
for Title III.
It's
I mean, what
considered
language?
multilingual when there's a loss of your native
Yes.
tongue
Yeah,
or language. And so they qualify for additional services under our limited English proficiency grant, which is actually another federal grant.
Right. So what do you do? And I mean, how do you
Yes.
help them under Title III?
So we're doing a book study, and we will read the chapters together, and then I have comprehension questions that we work on together, and then how to write appropriate responses, all of our race questions for restate. I can't remember the acronym right now, but I know that I'm helping them write paragraphs and papers and teaching them
But
reading
in
and writing
English?
skills. Yes, in English.
Okay,
It's just another layer of support for those students.
okay. All right, thanks.
And then the books that we're doing the book study with were purchased through Title III. And then I also have almost all of the local tribes flags represented in each of the buildings. I'm still waiting for permission to have Macaw tribal flags.
Oh, okay.
This was our second family night of the year where we made rattles out of deer hide. And then I also had some local Quileute Native Americans that came and helped punch holes and teach how to make rattles. And then I always provide dinner. And then that's my info if you have more questions.
All right, anybody got?
Oh, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're busy.
Yeah.
I am very good.
Thank you very much, Ashton. You may go to your children's events.
All right, next up, new teacher mentor program. Kristen.
Hello. Good afternoon. Hi, evening. You're right. I'm Kirsten McCracken. I coordinate the BEST grant, which is Beginning Educator Support Team. It is a mentor program for all novice teachers that are hired at QVSD. It is a competitive grant that we apply for every year. And so as part of my role is to coordinate that and work with new teachers. I also coordinate all of our professional development as well as district assessment coordinator. So it all weaves together in support of new teachers to help make them successful. Because what we do for our teachers, we do for our students. Go ahead, Hazel. Thank you. What's wonderful about the BEST program is its collective responsibility as a whole. So it's not just my job to make sure all novice teachers are supported. It's our job as a district. Superintendents, the principals, the other trained mentors, we work together collectively to support our new teachers because we want them to stay in the profession. Hopefully we want them to stay here at QVSD, but we want them to stay teachers no matter where they are. So this shared sense of responsibility is the foundation for building that comprehensive system of mentor support. Thank you, Hazel. The BEST program has 3 major components that I'm going to share with you tonight. We have the August induction, which is like an orientation. We call it New Teacher Academy. Then we have a stakeholder team that helps make sure that we follow all of the guidelines of our grant. We also have ongoing support for mentees, and I'm going to talk more in depth about those 3 things in just a moment. Go ahead, Hazel. As you can see here in this picture on the left, we had 3 new hires. 2 were not pictured because they were hired a little bit late after New Teacher Academy. So we had 5 total new hires, and then 2 returning second-year teachers. You can see those folks on the right. So I'm excited to see what we have in store for us this summer. The purpose though for our, go back one more time, sorry. The purpose of induction, because we have requirements of the grant. So there are things that we have to do at induction to support our new teachers. Things like learning our mission and vision of our school district. Community connection. So one of the things that we do that's really fun is we get a bus driver, we put all of our new folks on a bus and we take them around the community to show them around town. We do tours of our school campus so they get a sense of all 3 buildings. Well, 4 with Homeschool Plus, but all of our buildings and how we support and work together with our students. Other things like access to curriculum, state standards. We talk about school district policies and procedures and professional code of conduct. We even have the union stop by for lunch. They bring us lunch one day and talk about union representation and membership for our new teachers. Go ahead, thank you. Another component is the stakeholder team. Part of the grant is that we have to bring together a team of teachers to make sure we're following all the grant requirements. So this year we have a robust team, and I'm really happy to announce that we had 12 of us that started the year. This is at one of our January meetings, and Diana's taking the picture, so she's not in it, but the rest of us were, and we discussed the induction, we discussed how the program is going, and we use the induction standards to make sure we are following the grant. So things like evaluating our induction practices, using the standards to help us guide our decision-making, collecting and analyzing data from the mentees, the mentors, principals, and other stakeholders. We talk about the strengths of the program and identify any gaps for improvement. We also develop practices that ensure sustainable systems and leadership. So those are some of the things that we do together as a stakeholder team and the decisions that we make in service of our new teachers and of course our students. Then the ongoing support that we have for mentees comes in kind of 3 subgroups. Every month I facilitate what we call roundtable meetings, and those are guided by the state standards for mentoring. We talk about just-in-time training. So in October when we meet together, we talk about what parent conferences are going to look like. So it's just-in-time training that they get right there on the spot. We also give them training on the teacher evaluation rubric and help them learn to reflect on those practices and set goals. Lastly, we explore a variety of other best instructional practices that they can use in their classroom. So the tricky part is how do you help a 1st grade teacher and then, like, let's say the welding teacher do best practices in their classroom. So that's a tricky thing that we talk about, but we get it done. In the middle there, we talked about learning focused conversations. So I meet with all the mentees every week with one-to-one conversations. We talk about any topic that they initiate, basically. So I have a conversation tool. It's a document that they have access to. And before I meet with them, I ask them to write successes and challenges so I can see where their mind is and where I'm coming into that meeting going, what do they need support with? So it's totally driven by the mentee and what support they need in the moment. We also talk about other individualized support, and it links to the observations, which is in the next column. And so I do observations in the classroom, and my observations are non-evaluative because I'm not their principal, I'm not their supervisor, I'm their instructional coach. So I go in, I do observations at least once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on need, and offer feedback aligned to our teacher evaluation rubric. We also, again, set goals. We look at areas of strengths and improvement and develop next steps. Another thing that we do with observations is I accompany the mentee to go observe other teachers in our district. So if they're like, hey, I really need help with such and such, I will get in touch with the principal and say, hey, we'd like to go see another teacher, and that gets arranged so that we can provide coverage so that other teachers can go observe their colleagues. Because you want to see it in action, be able to put it into practice in your own classroom. So this theoretically leads to gains in the mentee's skills and more equitable practices and higher student outcomes. The work that we're doing with the Best Mentor program really dovetails nicely with our PLC work, and the board is well versed in the PLC work. We've all been doing our sessions along the way. So we've connected BEST to PLC. The three big ideas of a PLC are to create that focus.
Tell us again what PLC stands for.
Sure, professional learning community. Thank you for the reminder. Professional learning communities. And so we are in year 2 of that implementation. That's another presentation.
So all third grade teachers
Yeah.
work together, all first grade teachers work together. It looks a little different at the high school level and the middle school level. But that's so they can learn and really focus in on the essential learning standards.
Yes. So the essential learning standards that focus on learning at high achieving levels, collaborate as a team. So as Diana said, at the elementary school, they're collaborating with their grade-like colleagues. The middle school and high school, it looks a little different. They're mostly collaborating vertically. So all the math teachers together, or maybe the CTE department, they all are collaborating, working together, and learning together. And that leads to a focus of results. We want to see students achieving high success, meeting those grade level standards, and again, that collective efficacy. So those are the 3 big ideas of a professional learning community. And on the next slide, you can see how the mentor standards, the induction standards for new teachers aligns with the PLC work. So it's not like we're adding more to new teachers' plates because, new teachers get a lot on their plates, but really what it is the actual plate. We're just building a more robust plate so that they can carry the work with the support of their grade level team and their colleagues. Yeah. So it's really nicely aligned, PLC and the Best Mentor program. Go ahead to the next slide. I always love getting survey results, and I ask my mentees to provide us with kind of what's a quote or something that they could share with us about how being a mentee has impacted their practice. And I'm not going to read all of them to you, but some highlights. Here. So Mr. McGraw, one of his highlights was, it's given me insight into how other young teachers are addressing concerns in the classroom. So they're working together to address these ideas and concerns. Mr. Vallejo, he said, it's been great having someone to guide and give me support. Ms. Rogers says it creates time for teachers to get together and ask questions and ask for help. Ms. Winger, she says, being a part of the program has helped me grow by giving me the opportunity to learn from experienced colleagues around me. Ms. Gingrich says it's nice to have support from someone outside the classroom. Ms. Bentley, she says, being in the program has helped me gain more confidence as a new teacher and has shown me different strategies to help handle different situations. Mr. Armstrong says, my advice is it's okay to go slow at first and then go faster later. Mr. Merrick, I love one of his ending quotes is, "Be consistent with rules and procedures, communicate with parents, and have fun." And then Miss Meisel just said, "My best advice is they're not trying to give you a hard time, they're having a hard time." And she's our high school counselor. So the impact of this program is substantial. And I'm proud to say that over the years that I've been in charge of the program, we've been able to retain 82% of our novice teachers that have been hired since 22-23 school year. That's pretty significant. Yeah. Can I answer any questions?
How long has that been, the program been going on?
Oh, gosh, I think we're going on 12
12 years.
11 years, 12
We were
years.
one of the first 5 districts to get the grant. And I mean, it's substantially changed our retention of strong teachers.
Do we still use a grant?
Yes, we apply for the grant every year.
Every year.
Yep,
That's
it
what it
opens this
said.
Friday, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
So at
So
some
is that-
point, go ahead, Mike.
Is that program mandatory or volunteer?
we have said that it is part of their onboarding requirement. So they get a
Oh,
stipend.
you mean for this,
Are
for
you talking
the
about the best program?
staff, or are you talking about
Membership
in
program.
school
Yeah.
districts?
Yes, it is required.
Yeah.
And they do get
They get a
paid stipend for coming to those roundtables and participating in the meetings. So
'Cause
they're
it's a-
getting paid.
It's that extra time outside their contractual
Yeah.
hours.
So what do you feel is the biggest hurdle for new teachers that come here over the years?
Over the
I mean,
years,
did you-
it's that lack of support and that lack of feeling connected to your school and your community, I think is the biggest reason why a lot of teachers leave.
Mhm.
And so I feel really proud about the program that I'm working with these new teachers to build that sense of collective efficacy and building their, just making sure that they see their strengths, know they're being successful, and that we are here to help them to improve.
Housing's gotta be a problem too.
Housing is a big one.
Mhm.
Yes, so they can't find housing that's affordable, then that is a big sticking point and why some of them decide to leave. Or if they can't find housing here and find housing in Port Angeles, the commute is the killer.
Yeah.
So those are kind of some top reasons some of our younger teachers leave, because they don't have a connection here, like family or friends. Yeah, so that's really hard.
What year are you in with this?
So this is my 4th year.
4th year.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I love
Keep
it.
up the good work.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I've had the
Thank you for your time.
opportunity to be with Kirsten firsthand when she's having her learning focused conversations with the teachers, mainly to observe her and make sure that she's holding to the standards. There's research-based, national research-based practices, and she does an excellent job. She's a great listener and an excellent teacher, one of the best that we have, and we really appreciate your help.
Thank you. I'm honored to do this position. I love it.
Good.
It's really keeping me learning and growing too.
Well, we'll expect you here tomorrow then.
Okay. Sure. Awesome. You got it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ashlyn and Kirsten. Next up, we have public comments and questions. Now, those of you on the sign-up sheet are signed in to speak, not just signing into the meeting, correct? I guess you can tell me when I call you on it. But first, before we do, we have, let me reiterate our comments policy. We, the board, recognize the value of public comment on educational issues. Our board policy allows for individuals to express an opinion prior to board action on any items. Individuals wishing to be heard by the board will first be recognized by the chair. That's me. Individuals will identify themselves and will proceed to make comments within a 3-minute period. That's the clock up there. I may exercise discretion to interrupt or terminate an individual's statement when it is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, uncivil, or irrelevant. Expect that the board will not comment or provide answers, especially when we must protect the confidentiality of employee or personal actions or ongoing investigations. That is not to say we won't hear what you're saying and talk about it when we know more, if that is appropriate. All right, so first up I have Rodney Larson. Start the clock.
Mrs. Realm, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. My name is Rodney Larson. This evening, I'd like to talk about policies, procedures, and training. First, a bit of background. I believe it was 1994 when Stan Leonard Peterson approached me, and together we initiated a youth track and field club in Forks. We called it the North Peninsula Track Club. That first summer, we participated in Hershey events. We had some kids qualify and attend the Hershey National Meet in Iowa. The following season, Stan and Linda, seeking to improve our coaching skills, decided we should join USA Track and Field. To that end, we attended a level 1 training in the Olympia area. We were introduced to the fundamentals of all the events, to basic coaching philosophy, nutrition, warm-up, stretching, a whirlwind, 16 or was it 20 hours over 3 days. USA Track and Field is the governing body for the sport in the U.S. It promotes youth programs and development. It develops and conducts coaching and judging training programs. It conducts training camps for Olympic athletes and sets standards and conducts, qualifying competitions for Olympic team. Later, I attended 2 event-specific level 2 training courses. The first for sprints, hurdles, and relays, the second for jumps. Together, these 2 sessions totaled some 200 classroom hours. Tests were administered, a final project required. Upon completion, I was considered qualified to coach those events at a Division I collegiate level. Back to Cooley Valley School District policies, procedures, and training. At trial, Larson versus QVSD, Mr. Bridges, the attorney for QVSD, referred to boundary policies and questioned Mrs. Realm about safe sport policy recently adopted by this board. Mrs. Realm noted that approximately 245 school districts there are about 245 school districts in the state, and about 175 have adopted safe sport. So about 70 have not. Maybe they recognize the pitfalls. As I understand Mrs. Realm's testimony, safe sport approves touching, stretching, positioning, massaging a student athlete as, quote, long as it is for educational purposes. A video was introduced into evidence, and a couple of frames were shown with Mr. Weeks touching a female athlete. In one, the girl was on her back on the floor in the weight room. Mr. Weeks was at her right side, near her feet, holding her right leg and looking down at her, stretching her leg. In the other, same girl was now lying on her stomach, and Mr. Weeks was on his knees at her left side with both hands on the small of her back, massaging her. Parents, let me ask, are you comfortable with these
Thanks,
images
Rod.
if that girl is your daughter?
Wrap it up.
He finished?
No, 3 minutes.
Can I give him my time?
I'll do my.
Pardon me?
Can I give him my time?
I don't care. Who are,
I'm Wendy.
yeah, if you'd like to give it up. 3 minutes.
Thank you. Mrs. Realm was asked if, given the school's boundary policies, those were instances of appropriate touching. Her response, and I quote, if it is for educational purposes. No definitive yes or no, rather an ambiguous response shielded by policy. Parents, I bet you have no trouble with a one-word response to the question. Now let's take another look at what's going on. First, a brief discussion. Track shorts are typically well above mid-thigh, are loose, blousy, and made from a light material. Elevate the leg of a supine female athlete. The blousy shorts obey gravity, slide to the crotch, reveal the outer form of the gluteus maximus, and expose intimate under apparel. Move the leg around, stretching it, and voila, a peep show. The girl in question was wearing shorts as described. Remember, Ms. Realm testified this touching was okay, quote, if it was for educational purposes. The educational purpose was never defined. In spite of over 200 hours of professional training, I cannot identify any legitimate educational purpose. Now consider the lower back massage. The overriding question is, how is this training? The video does not show Mr. Weeks interacting with a third party as you would expect if he was training someone. Instead, he is clearly focused on massaging the girl's lower back. Come full circle. In the USATF training sessions, boundaries and personal space were a focus. I do not remember being taught stretches that require two persons. As far as massage, the sessions identifies massage as the province of a certified athletic trainer or massage therapist. Something a coach might suggest or recommend in certain circumstances. However, the coach's role is not to do massage, but to point the athlete to professionals. Touching. What do we know about touching, especially in the area of context of boundaries? In QVSD training materials, in that 8-inch tall 2-binder pile, there are training materials concerning grooming. Touching is identified as a behavior used to break down barriers. Interesting. Required training to identify grooming behaviors. No training, no certification required to massage a student athlete. Someone's son or daughter, granddaughter or grandson, just assert it's educational, and hey, presto, it's A-OK. Who makes the call? Is it educational? If so, has appropriate training required of the staff? Hopefully my remarks are a wake-up call. Hopefully the board takes immediate action to revoke this fundamentally flawed safe sport policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Rod. Obnoxious noise. Sharon Gadesky.
Hi, it's Shannon Gudesky, actually.
Sorry, Shannon.
I don't have specifically prepared remarks today. I was here at the last meeting. Kari Larson.
It shows.
I'm out.
Can you hear us, Nathan? It shows it's on.
Yeah, Hazel.
Okay.
Please continue.
So, throughout the past couple of weeks, I've been hearing a lot from various community members about concerns that they have with the school district. Concerns about staff to student interactions, staff to staff interactions, student to student interactions, bullying, sexual assault. The community wants transparency. People want to know how we can fix this problem. Board members, I ask you to look for ways that you can increase the transparency on these issues between yourself and the community. Community members would be happy to be involved in that effort. We want accountability. We want to keep students safe. Kind of a little bit of a different issue. Last Wednesday, my kids don't attend William Valley schools. They're homeschooled. But my daughter is a member of the middle school track team. And last Wednesday, I brought her to the school to get on the bus for the track meet. And instead of getting on the bus, she was ushered into the school building for the lockdown. She arrived at exactly the wrong moment. But a concern that I have related to that, although I am thankful for a quick response from staff and from law enforcement, a concern that I have is when I pulled up into the parking lot, that school bus for the track team was sitting right in front of me, and I saw students on that bus. I turned and said goodbye to my daughter in the passenger seat. She got out of the car and walked across the street, and I looked up and I didn't see students on the bus anymore, and she never actually got on the bus. They had pulled the students off the bus into the school building when the incident set off. And I don't know whether that was the right call or not. I'd ask y'all to examine that part of that incident. part of that response and consider if maybe removing students that are on that school bus already from school property might be a better response in that situation. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Rick Gale.
Hi, I'm Rick Gale. I served on the school board for approximately 10 years, a couple weeks short. And I'm here to talk about some history of when I was on the board, and because I feel it's relevant to what's going on now, what these people are talking about, what we went through, the trial and all that. Yeah, I served on the board on just under 10 years. Was in on the hiring of Diana, the superintendent. After getting back from the bone marrow transplant, I was informed that Mr. Weekly was assistant superintendent, which is questionable nowadays because the size of our
Wait. Hey, Rick.
Huh?
Can't talk about people, personnel here, okay?
Okay. Well, you know what?
Thank you. Pam? Gail?
Hi, my name is Pam Gale. All of you know that, but some will deny that they know me at all. I've worked for the district as a track coach since 1997 to the current day. I also substitute teach for our district, a job Diana Rion gave me right after retiring from Thriftway in 2013. So 30 seasons of track and field and 13 years of subbing and not one bad evaluation from Columbia Valley, ever. Recently, I testified in federal court to tell the truth, so help me God, and I did exactly that. To my surprise, the truth does not always prevail, but it does set me free. In spring of 2018, I reported to Assistant Superintendent Athletic Director Kyle Beagley of an inappropriate behavior by Mr. Weeks towards middle school girls athletes. In spring of 2019, I continued to report that Mr. Weeks was massaging 7th and 8th grade girl athletes to the point of not being able to see his hand underneath their shorts. In April of 2019, me and my assistant coach reported that Mr. Weeks in the weight room with the lights off, alone with a high school track athlete, when opening the door to the weight room, it appeared he was massaging her legs. Inevitable of whatever I saw that day, Mr. Weeks was inside the weight room alone with a high school girl. Knowing that there's film in that room, I asked Assistant Superintendent Athletic Director Kyle Weekly to please pull that tape and judge for himself the severity of Mr. Weeks's actions. The tape was never produced. I know what I saw. Other people also saw these actions, but Mr. Weeks by Mr. Weeks, and to allow Mr. Weeks back to our school district at any level would be a horrible injustice. You are better off continuing to pay him in full wage as we are right now as tax-paying district people until his retirement rather than jeopardizing our students. Let me end with this. Evil persists when good people do nothing. My husband and I have given a lifetime of love and support to the students of QVSD. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask, Bill, what is the difference? She's talking,
It's been
about
litigated.
personnel.
It's been
You shut me
litigated.
down, but you didn't shut my wife down. What's the difference? What was the difference?
You were,
Can any of you guys, can you tell me, Kevin, what was the difference, Mike?
well, if you give me a chance. You were
I was what?
criticizing. No, she was giving information.
Well, this is.
That's how I took it.
This is just simply information.
Well, then
That's
give
what
it,
went on.
then let us have it. But I don't want. Okay. Sarah Hanson?
Hi, I'm Sarah Hanson, and I get nervous in front of crowds. Last week, we had a very real threat in our school. And one of the first things I'd like to say is a lot of stuff went right. My kid came home at the end of the day. and I'm grateful. I'm a DOC employee, so I think of security on the day-to-day. And so the aftermath of this really had me thinking about some things that I would like to see. I went to the city hall or the city council meeting last night regarding emergency response and QVSD coming together and doing a debrief for the community, because I know it was more than just the students and teachers that were affected, but the parents who were scared as well at home, waiting for their kids to come home. Gratefully, like nothing happened. Some things that I would like to at least have discussed are student ID scanners. When the kid comes to school, they scan their ID, letting the school know that they're in the building. Or when they leave for lunch, because this happens at lunchtime, the school will have an idea of where our children are. Because some kids have cell phones, some kids do not. Some kids are Forks natives, but some are out in Beaver or La Push or in Bear Creek, and some parents are working till 10 p.m. We need to know a way of tracking where these kids are when we release them to you guys to have them for the day. So I think an accountability piece for the students would be really, really great. How do we notify students of such an event? The parents get text notifications that there's an event happening, and so I knew at 12:10 that the school was on lockdown. But my son's girlfriend, who was at Thriftway, hears from community members, you can't go back to the school. So where are these kids supposed to commune afterwards if they don't have a parent or a friend or a resource to get them home, but they can't come back to school? So I know school's not a prison, but guns make their way into the school. It's happened in multiple places, and I think we would be ridiculous to think that it couldn't happen here. I would implore to request metal detectors at the school as well. And I know that not everything is fail-safe, but creating a safer environment for our kids is top priority. And as a taxpayer, I would happily give my dollars to make sure that these students come home at the end of the day. But it was just a different day. I saw the buses roll up, and it just seemed different. It was scary. It felt more militant. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Okay, that wraps it up for comments. Appreciate everybody's input. And we will, I'm sure, be discussing a lot of this in future meetings as we develop policy. So with that, let us continue our meeting. We're at the consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda?
I'll make a motion, we accept tonight's consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks. Any questions about it?
I had one on the bills, not questioning the amount, but both Johnson Controls and Maida on their bills. I see their vans around, so I just wondered, what do they do? Because their bills was about $40,000 for last month. So are they like HVAC guys, or what do they do?
Johnson Controls was the contract for the VFDs in the boiler room. So
The what?
In the boiler room.
the VFDs in the boiler room.
VFDs being?
VFDs, they're basically what they are is they're a controller that controls the pumps and the motors, how much water it circulates to the building. So it's got a different pressure control switch back to those. The old ones were obsolete and breaking down on us, so we were having issues. So the contract that you guys signed months ago, or I can't remember when it came out, they finally got the VFDs and came out and installed those. And so Maida is who we have to use for all our HVAC. So Maida does all the heat pumps and such. We had a large heat pump after that power outage. We had a heat pump over at the ILC that went down. And so the repair cost on that was roughly $10,000 with the large compressors and stuff that went down.
Okay. Yeah, I just kind of wondered what those two companies did, so.
all of our controls in the middle school and the elementary school are Johnson controls, so they control the heaters. And that's how we adjust the thermostats and set the temperatures and such as with that. And then their VFDs and such control the boiler rooms. So.
Okay. Yep, thanks.
Yep.
That was my question.
Okay, any other questions?
We have two people retiring.
Yeah, I was gonna
Tammy and
mention,
Kathy, 38 years and 37 years.
yeah, I was gonna say 75 years. Kathy Johnson is retiring after 38 years, and I would like to thank her for her dedication to our programs over the years. She's been in different buildings, most recently in the elementary. And then Tammy Shaner as our transportation director, 37 years. And so anytime you lose a employee with that much longevity, you really lose a lot of little things that they do that you don't realize that they do. But I'd like to congratulate them. And we'll be providing them with a QVSD blanket with their years of service and wrapping them.
So who's going to be the supervisor over there?
Well, we will have to post a new position after this and then go through the EEOC process. Whoever interviews, we screen, get a committee together, the whole process.
How long has she been the supervisor? Long time, 20 years, 25 years?
I think more than that. I don't know exactly, yeah, but been there a long time. And then we're losing some other really good instructors too for personal reasons, so.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions for Diana or anybody? Bill? Okay, all those in favor of, we had a motion, right?
Yeah.
All those in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. It's adopted. Reports. Diana, Revenue Advisory Committee, trust land transfer.
So the Clallam County Commissioners established a revenue advisory committee for timber. And it consists of all the junior taxing districts, either CEOs or CFOs. And so it's like the school districts, the fire departments, the county hospitals, libraries. And we hold a monthly meeting and then discuss issues that are pertinent to any of the junior taxing districts. As you know, it's our goal to hang on to every dollar that we can. Those are our local dollars that you have the authority to dedicate to any funding source. It's the only chance you have for local dollars where it's not tied to specific WACs or requirements. And so I wanted to bring, they have what are called trust land transfer when the DNR looks at a piece of land that's in a junior taxing district that they believe is not, doesn't have the revenue. And so what they call they put it up for sale. And so this particular piece of land is Bear Springs, and it's a direct transfer sale. So the seller is DNR and the potential buyer is the Quileute tribe. And they're working on making that transfer. And so our junior taxing district we're part of that area. And so the reason I'm bringing this, and my understanding, and the DNR represented there, is that this is the Bear Springs.
Isn't it a fish hatchery?
Yeah, but there is some timber there that would be revenue to our school district. And so at first, I thought that when there's a transfer, then the state DNR land has to buy another piece of land given to us in another area. That's not the case. But I want to tell you what we can do. So before this transaction actually happens, if we want any paid money revenue, because once this goes away from us, then it's no longer we no longer get any revenue from it. So if requested, and it has to be prior to the sale, we can do a letter to the Clallam County commissioners, and then they forward the letter to the DNR, and they look at the assessment of the timber that's on that land, and then they don't have to, we can request that we would like in return what potentially a sale might look like, the revenues from that sale. Because once it's out of our junior taxing district, then it's gone forever. So my understanding is that this state, and here's what we're looking into. I guess I was going to ask you if you want, I can write a letter on behalf of you that I would give to the county commissioners, and then they would forward it on to DNR. So if and when this does transfer, they could at least entertain the idea of paying us whatever our portion is of that timber. I don't know, there might be another junior taxing district in that area, and it might be a little bit of money. The only caveat is they don't have to pay us. And then my understanding is there's an RCW where they set aside dollars from these sales where they are to purchase other land to replace it, but that is not necessarily happening. And so part of the goal of this revenue advisory committee is that we put pressure on the DNR so that we're making sure that they're following in, because they have a legal obligation to provide us with those revenues from that land. Anyway, so I'm just wondering if discussion or questions that you would have, or you would want me to draft a letter on behalf of the board.
If we could get something in exchange, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Can I provide a little background on the DNR? Since I worked before the DNR, and I was in the region here, I was managed a trust land transfer program. I had leasing, and so this relates to Bear Springs. The trust land transfer program, if it's not, it has to be a piece of school land to qualify. So what they do is they intergrant.
They do what?
They do
Yeah.
Thank you.
It looks like they X the house out of there.
My
It's excluded from that.
understanding is that did occur in the past, but it's not necessarily happening now. There's no record keeping, or at least it's not transparent for us when this isn't the only one. This is the one affecting QVSD, but there's one affecting Sequim School District and one affecting, I think, Cape Flattery. And so our concerns are wanting to know where our new land is, like Mr. Larson talked about, so that we're not losing revenue. Again, that's our only local resource of local funds that you as the board have the authority to dedicate those to wherever.
Yeah, I missed one piece. So what they do is they actually take a piece of school land that's in that taxing district and designate it to replace the piece of forest board land that they're going to transfer. So it's a multi-step process.
What's the reason for the transfer?
Usually they look at lands that are underperforming in comparison to other timberlands. And so the goal again would be that if this is not, and my understanding there's other history of the performance of the whole place itself, but my understanding is that it really doesn't provide what the law is intended, and that is for timber dollars to support hospitals. There's just not enough of it on the land. And again, I don't even know the DNR representatives that were there said that it's not a valuable piece of land that's going to bring a lot of money into the junior taxing district. And so that's why you would transfer it, sell it, and then put it.
Would you
in there.
transfer acres to acres or only on dollars to dollars?
I don't know. That's a good question. Somebody from the DNR is going to come and explain the whole process, so we're very clear of it. Our concern again is that we're not seeing it on the new maps, and it's not transparent for us to know. Like I can pull up a map and see where our junior taxing districts are. So, and that's more of a function at the state level than our local level.
So this has been going on since 2020.
Well, maybe they're gonna open up the hatchery again, because I don't think there's anything there right now.
I
don't think so.
don't think so either.
Okay. Thanks, Diana.
But it's
So
worth
back to
looking
the
into.
So you're proposing a letter?
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that I've done my homework and meet with a couple folks to make sure that we know what we're doing. And then I would propose a letter.
To DNR?
I would draft one for you on
Olympia.
behalf of you, and then we would,
Right.
as a board, you would approve it and then propose it.
And this is to Olympia?
This would be to Clallam County Commissioners,
Okay.
and then they have to turn it into the DNR board, or yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, so do your homework and
Yeah.
we'll go on.
We asked how quickly the sale would go, and they don't know. It's just in process.
But they've agreed to it, according to this timeline, to facilitate that transfer. Okay, we'll stand by and wait for that then.
Okay.
Let's go on to any other questions for Diana on that?
No.
Thanks, Rod, for your input. Financial reports.
So for the month of March, we have 9% apportionment, a little over 5 million, with expenditures at 5.7. So it looks like a negative of 365,000. And so if you look at our general fund, that's our net cash and investments. In the county treasurer, we currently have 8.4 million, about 12% of our $71 million budget. Oh gosh, I don't even know if you can see this. We're really truly about where we were last year at this time. There's a couple of outstanding, about $100,000 that were lagging from OLECAP for our ECAP program through our grant. And then a reminder that we paid for our membership to the pool in one lump sum in the beginning, rather than splitting it up in the fall and in the spring this year. And so it looks like we're a little down where we were last year, but I think we're going to see it in the next couple of months.
Okay.
So we met our required minimum fund balance of 5%. We have some non-spendable. Those are usually tied to grants and or inventory. And so at our unreserved and designated, we're currently at 6.6%, or a little over 4.5 million. If you look at our budget status report in a couple of things, Jan has encumbered all of the expenditures. So it looks like we're at 85% of expenditures for the year, when really, truly, we're not going to reach that 100% because of our lower enrollment in Insight. Again, we tried to get that budget number right on target for that. We're going to look at our enrollment here, and we're closer. And it looks like our revenue is down, but of the 71 million, we're not going to see the 71 million because we don't have all of the FTE in our online program. But we're still in good shape budget-wise. And the other thing that I noticed is in our debt service fund, we're still continuing to see our junior taxing district dollars come in. We're seeing more than we expected. I think we budgeted 100 to 200,000. We're seeing more than that. So we're continuing to see that. And the good news is from the Revenue Advisory Committee, the DNR laid out our sales, what's happening now and for the next year. And it looks like they're, because they code it by our junior taxing district, we'll be in good shape. So again, more local revenue for flexible funding. So our April enrollment, we're averaging again 816. We budgeted 823. That's for a brick and mortar. And again, seeing really steady numbers at the elementary school. By the way, tonight is kindergarten and TK registration. We are anticipating a class of 70. This year it was really low for 48. So we're seeing that number bounce back up, which is good news. Middle school, just very even, again, right at where we budgeted. The high school down a little bit to a running start, but right at 210. And then our homeschool has been pretty steady, somewhere around 40-ish for the year. And that is 2 full-time instructors. And then Myron, you want to pitch it?
Yeah, so right now for Insight Washington, we continue to showing enrollment growth in year. We're still approving right now for kindergarten 1 and 2. But right now we're expecting to hit May around probably 650 students for a head count. So that's going to continue to add just a little bit closer to the budgeted goal.
And then how about middle school when we were budgeting for 800?
Right now we're projecting our head count for 5-1 to be close to around 800, probably close to 845, 850. So that's going to help us get a little bit closer to that number as well.
Thanks for the music.
Sorry about that. And then high school, that's my son playing the piano downstairs. For high school, we're running about 1828 probably for our May 1 count. So that's probably the one where we're the shortest in the whole scheme of things, but we're going to make up a little bit ground.
Okay. So for final, again, we're averaging just the 600 when I was talking about our $71 million budget. That's where our deficit is. But again, if we don't have the kids, that's also not going out. So we'll be fine, and we don't have to do a budget revision like we did last year.
Okay. Board member reports. Ron, Mike, Kevin, anything?
Nope, I don't have anything.
Nothing? Me neither.
No.
Myron, you have any general report? Oh, he went to turn the piano off.
Turn the piano off. Yeah, the only one thing is,
there he is. Go ahead.
This weekend around town, they're having the Neat Crippen basketball tournament this weekend. So that is always nice to.
Has that been gone for a couple of years?
Yeah, it's been gone for a few years. They got too many teams this year, which is good. So
I think before COVID, it was the last time, or maybe right after COVID. Yeah.
So they're bringing that back, and it's this weekend. So
Cool.
if people want
And
to
what
do
gyms
something,
where are they playing? All our gyms are pretty busy.
well, they're playing at both gyms here, and then they play down at La Push also. So
okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
You know how many teams we have?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So.
Oh, hi, Sheila. You or Myron have anything for board reports?
I just wanted to briefly talk about the fact that we have landed on our dates for our annual K-12 Partner Summit. So I will be sending all the board members and Diana an email with details around location and time. It will be October 6th through 8th back in Virginia. We'll have a welcome reception at our headquarters, and then a series of sessions the following day, probably at a hotel, just because our participation has grown over the years. But look for that in your inbox. I'm going to be sending that to you probably tomorrow, and I hope that you'll all take the trip out and come spend some time with us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I think for it, Insight Washington, as we're doing our planning for next year right now, we're really trying to get ahead of that and make sure we're on point for next year. Just so that the board is aware, we currently are about 350 kids ahead of where we were last year at this point for approval. So these are students that are coming back, and we already have all the documentation for them to start for us. So we're already ahead of the curve of last year for that purpose. And we have a pretty strong re-registration group of kids that we're still waiting on documentation from to finalize them. So we have about returning kids. So right now we're approved right now for 1,060 kids for next year. And we have about 1,000 students we're waiting for choice transfers on. So we're well on our way. And I think another thing I want to kind of point out too is that we are making some really cool curriculum investments next year. And so we're producing some courses we're calling focus courses, where they have built-in assessments and pieces directly tied to our state testing blueprint. So we're really excited about those courses launching for us for next year.
Okay, thank you, Myron. That sounds good. Optimistic. Okay, if there's nothing else under board reports or inside school, let's go to old business. Jay Henson, Forks Middle School pre-design update.
Awesome. Just going to update again about the advisory committee we had for Forks Middle School replacement. We met last Wednesday. And so the first thing we began talking about, go to the next slide, please, is in regard to the survey results. The school district had put out a survey. Diana helped me, I know via Facebook.
ProShare.
Yeah, ProShare, other ways to get it out into the community. So that was the first objective. I'll just highlight a couple of key common themes from those survey results. Overall sentiment was strong support for rebuilding. There were clear expectations around cost, safety, and priorities. Survey responses showed consistently high ratings, mostly 4 and 5s on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being very strong support. Frequent comments reinforcing urgency, quote, "It's vastly overdue. Students and staff deserve a safe building. It needs to be done desperately." Some other major themes. Oops, I got it. Thanks. Some other major themes. Safety is the strongest point of alignment. High priorities, single secure entrance, and a connected campus. As you all know, Forks Middle School has multiple buildings currently, and I'll touch on that and what happened in the lockdown and how that can be better suited in one building. Strong support for rebuilding rather than remodeling. Kind of call that throwing good dollars at bad when you're just trying to fix up an older building rather than tearing down and starting new. Cost sensitivity, though, is real, even among supporters. While support is strong, financial concern is a major undercurrent. Some common themes: property tax shock, desire for responsible budgeting, and an expectation that the project is going to last. We've consistently been talking in the advisory committee that this is a 60+ year building. So we're not just thinking about 2030, we're thinking about 2090, and the flexibility that a school needs to provide today to serve Cooley Valley School District for decades to come. Timing and state funding matter. I know I've been here before talking specifically with you all about the timing of the November bond. Getting that in helps us to secure an additional about $4 million, so we can expect $21 million from the state rather than 17. So that's going to be key. Kind of a call to action to voters. Academic spaces should come before extras. Prioritize learning environments over athletics or aesthetics. 1 story versus 2 stories is a real divide. So there's a clear split in the comments. So the 1 story preference, easier supervision, safer in emergencies. A 2-story preference allows for future growth, more efficient use of space. There's also, of course, Forks Middle School right now is a 1-story building. That's what they're used to, and so that's what is more comfortable. Staff voice equals credibility. I did want to know, I had mentioned it before, while what I'm reporting on right now and what happened on Wednesday is an advisory committee, its key word is advisory, where they can give opinions, School district selected these folks, including like Elena, the principal, a couple of school board members. At the end of the day, if the bond passes in November, there's still over a year of design that needs to happen before the school is even put out to bid and built. So plenty of, every teacher will have a chance to give their input. Community members, there'll be community meetings, giving them updates on buildings, giving them a chance for their voice to be heard. So I just wanted to make that clear again, especially with more community members in the audience tonight. And then lastly, some preferred communication channels that were noted were district website, a capital projects page, social media, parent emails, printed newsletters, and in-person meetings. And then some next steps, continuing with a multi-channel approach with keeping facilities webpage up to date, social and email for ongoing updates, and in-person for trust building. So after we went over the results, I'm actually going to give the design charrette recap again. I know I reported on this last week, but it'll help because at the end is kind of the pretty version. So if you recall, we had all of these puzzle pieces in regard to some major spaces that we've identified as a need in the school: classrooms, gymnasium, stage, music, administration, library, as well as playground and covered play, locker rooms. Can you just go down, please, Hazel? So we split into two groups. There was kind of a team gold and a team blue. Those two groups worked independently. Myself and Ellen kind of worked as floaters, just looking at what they were doing. And then we came together afterward as one big group and determined some common themes between the two groups. So all the while we're talking about key project values. So we're talking about key project values, durable, and this was determined at the very first advisory meeting, almost a year ago now. Durable and maintainable. It's a flexible design that goes back to what I was talking about, not just 2030, but 2090. A prominent entrance that was also echoed in these survey results. A practical design that goes in regard to being cost efficient. A community asset. So that's in regard to, it's like a gym space. That's very valuable here with all the activities going on. Vehicular separation, which also ties into the last one, safety and security. So all of these are going to be looked back on during the design and construction process. So some of the common themes that we had seen was a desire to set Forks Middle School off of Spartan Avenue, specifically kind of aligned with this Forks High School, keep it to the east side, and that really helps for a better drop off and pickup. I'll just call it experience for everyone, be able to get off of Spartan Avenue and A Street away from the post office. You scroll down, please, a little more.
Seems like.
Oh, yeah, sorry, no, next slide. Thank you. And so what we came up with was a U-shaped design with athletics toward the south. We have one pod of classrooms, again, in the theme of being flexible. I'll mention that these will theoretically be fifth grade classrooms, but at the end of the day, they're just general classrooms that could be anything in 20, 30 years from now. But the idea being fifth graders on the first floor. There's SPED and art and science on the first floor as well, with admin. And then scroll down, please. And then moving upstairs is where 6th, 7th, and 8th grade are, with the library. And then you see a large open play kind of in the middle of the open U. So now lastly, so then this was the finished result. If you can kind of see, it's a little bit small as I'm looking at it here. I'm sure it's bigger on the computers in front of you, but one prominent entrance at pickup and drop off with the office. These don't have any intricacies of, building insets where there would be possible teacher only access. There's a secondary access point near the locker rooms and kitchen where students getting off of the bus will be able to go into the commons or gym prior to school starting. That can also be utilized after hours. so that people could park to the south of the school and enter just that area of the school without giving them access to the entire school. Allows you to block off for safety reasons, of course, giving them restrooms, that's a requirement. But you can see this would be much easier in an event of lockdown. We actually had that meeting on Wednesday, as I mentioned, and that happened to be the lockdown day. And so lockers were all open, just for safety, and backpacks everywhere. There's a lot of exterior doors. And so getting all of the students under one roof would be a huge asset. And again, just to reiterate again, while this is the current, I don't even like to use the word design. This is completely flexible. There's a lot of time and a lot of input that needs to be had from not only teachers, but community members as well. But in terms of the advisory committee and what can be put out to the public as a possible idea for what a school could look like for a bond, this is what we've come up with. And then after all this, then we toured the school and walked around, and Elena did a good job talking about what works well, that she would like to see in the new school and what could be better.
Questions?
We got to see the aftermath of every classroom being
Gutted.
basically where our first respondents went to every classroom to look for potential weapons. I mean, they did a thorough job. I mean, my hat's off to the respondents. The rooms were still, all the lockers had been opened. Kids left their backpacks there overnight. And it was really a thorough job. I would agree with you, Sarah. It was done well.
Yeah, it sounded like not only thorough, but it sounded like quick too. Honestly,
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but
We got to see the aftermath of it. Yeah.
and while that was not just closing it, while that was the last advisory committee meeting, obviously I'll be around with other projects within the school district, but with Forks Middle School specifically, I'll still be coming here. As you know, we need to get through those, the deform process. And so that's like SEPA, getting that reviewed in board resolution, educational specifications. I'll have an official document for you all to review after Elena gets a chance to review as well. So in regard to all projects, QVSD, I'm not going anywhere, but even in regard to just Forks Middle School, even though that was the last advisory committee meeting, there's plenty more that I'll be around and see you all face to face.
Okay. Anybody questions for him?
No.
No?
Thank you, Jay. And
Jay,
I just
you all.
wanted to publicly thank the committee members who gave up their one night a month to help with this for community input.
Yep.
They did a great job.
They did.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Have a safe trip. All right, new business. Inside School of Washington's 26-27 school year course catalog. Y'all get a chance to review
I didn't
that?
read all 36 pages.
Okay.
There's not significant course differences between this year and last year, and it's pretty comparable to what we've done in prior years. We made a couple of tweaks, I think, in our English program where we added in an elective course, but there's really no significant changes in any of the other courses that we're offering. So.
Okay. Sounds good. Any questions from the board? Is there a motion then to approve the course catalog for 26-27 Inside School of Washington?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Ron. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. If there aren't any other questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. There are none. Okay, that ends new business. Now we have an executive session to review a public employee performance. How long?
I would guess 25 minutes out at
So we'll
7:30.
leave at 7:05. We'll be back at 7:20 or
7:30.
I'm sorry, yeah, 7:30. All right, you're welcome to stay. Is there any action?
Probably.
No action probably at this time. Thank you all for coming. And
Okay.
7:30, we're back in open session. There is no action to be taken, so we are adjourned. Who's here?